I got pee and stuff.
It sounded so panicked. I mean, I got a pee and stuff. Why do you?
Now he's stuck out there with that savage beast.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast. This is your weekly podcast that delivers a minute-by-minute breakdown of the 1986 Transformers movie. And this is your episode 73, which means we're covering the 1 hour, 12 minute, and 1 second to the 1 hour and 13 minute mark. And this is your host, Aaron, speaking. And with me are a couple of peeps that I used to run a Los Angeles detective agency with back in the day. You see, I was a chic, smart, former high-fashion model, left bankrupt by my accountant's shady thievery, with the agency really being my only asset. And my friends here, well, one is a wisecracking detective, originally from Philly, who has a knack for breaking the fourth wall, and the other was my extremely loyal, yet idiosyncratic receptionist, whose superpower was the ability to answer the phone in rhyme. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves, please.
Was that the Blue Moon Detective Agency?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
Okay, gotcha. I thought you were going to answer in the form of David Addison, of course.
I
I
don't. There are no I can't think of any catchphrases or if it were up to me, this would be where I'd end the episode right now.
There we go. Yeah, that was perfect, actually.
All right.
Is it moonlighting?
Yes. You may remember the receptionist Agnes DePesto.
I only know all of this because when we talked about moonlighting way back when we were
Yeah.
talking about our friend Orson Welles.
I can't remember if you'd actually ever
I've never
watched
seen
the show, and you probably don't know who the character is.
I've never seen an episode. I'm sorry.
So you don't have to do what I was trying to. But here, let's see if I can find a YouTube video to give
Sorry,
some context.
falling on deaf ears here.
That's
I don't
okay.
really
No, it's
know
all
what
right.
you were thinking he was going to do.
Well, but he could, in the character of the iconic moment, have done a DePesto style phone answering thing. But that assumes he knows the show and the character.
I don't know it even that well. I don't remember her answering the phone in a weird way.
Oh, really? That was
No.
her thing.
Yeah, but you've watched the show
I have it on DVD.
Yeah, I haven't watched it since it was on.
Sybil Shepherd is always in
Soft
smudgy focus.
Look at the decor.
This show
in
is
the
so
office.
fucking 80s.
Yeah, look at the decor in the office.
I love it.
It's better.
Blue Moon Detective Agency, domestic entanglements our forte. If he plays around, we'll track him down. We'll catch him with his fling, take shots of the whole thing. Black and white and color too. Big ones, little ones, well...
Blue Moon Detective Agency. How may I help you? That is how we answer the phone.
Blue Moon Detective Agency, how may I help you? I think he hung up.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
You don't remember the shtick of her being
Again, I haven't seen it since it was on TV.
Last episode recap.
Oh, okay. So, sorry. We have not as up on our moonlighting. Maybe I need to borrow the DVDs and not watch the fifth season.
I think that like the conversation around Star Trek and Transformers coming together, this is one of those moments where I thought we were going to really jive, and it just didn't happen.
I feel
and
like
that's okay.
That's mostly whenever you're really excited about something happening, especially when you think you have. I feel like it's like whenever I was a kid and I'm like, this is how this romantic interaction is going to go between me and this girl, and we're both in sixth grade.
Like when you got what about the bed and breakfast situation?
Oh yeah, that's a deep cut. Go back to our Valentine's Day episode and listen to that. Yeah, exactly. Where I'm like, I built up in my head how it's going to go, and regardless, just leaving aside that the other person is a living, breathing human being
and not interested,
who might not give a shit about any of this.
which is exactly what happened. I am you, and you guys are...
It doesn't feel good, does it?
Ryan's Valentine's Day date.
It wasn't a Valentine's. It was her birthday.
Oh, okay. So, last episode.
I've gotten better.
Sure you have.
No.
You have a real live-in girlfriend
I have an
now.
alive
Your girlfriend
girlfriend
moved into your house.
who's a real person.
And you guys watched a horror movie marathon
We
recently.
did the 24-hour Joe Bob Briggs Last Drive-In on Shudder. It was awesome. I don't know how many of our listeners like horror movies or remember Joe Bob Briggs.
I feel like if anybody did or does, it would be, of course, Serge Bongla.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm projecting, but maybe Ernie is interested in that
Ernie.
kind of thing.
Ernie, you watching that? You
I
watching
just
that
assume
horror
if I'm
shit?
interested in it, he might be.
He is the replacement for you.
That's right.
Once you die a terrible
Of
death.
cirrhosis, which is fingers crossed coming soon. But yeah, it was really good. Like Joe Bob Briggs was a horror host for decades, and it's been 17 years since he did. He was on the movie channel, and then he was on Monster Vision on TNT. It's been 17 years since he did one. He did the Last Drive-In. It was a 24-hour block from Friday at 8 p.m. to basically Saturday at like 10:30 p.m. And West and I stayed up. We pulled like the bed mattress into the living room and slept in there, and had snacks and drinks, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. And by the way, I've asked both Aaron and Caleb, and neither one of them know what Sorority Babes of the Slimeball Bolorama is.
Just don't know.
But it is amazing, and I highly recommend anybody putting their eyeballs on it. It stars the great Linnea Quigley, who is one of my favorite all-time B-movie actors ever. She's the best. The movie basically is they break into a bowling alley as a part of a sorority initiation, and they're supposed to steal a bowling trophy, which gets broken and houses an imp that grants them wishes that then turn out to be, demonic like twists.
Gotcha. Sort of a Rumpelstiltskin situation.
Like a monkey's paw.
Small things can cause big trouble.
I know where the Tri-Delta sorority's having their initiation tonight.
Yeah, Delta Delta? They say you've got to start at the bottom to get to the top. And they're right. Oh! They say you shouldn't stick your nose where it doesn't belong. And they're right.
Busted.
They say where there's smoke, there's fire. And they're right.
Babs, how about a cocktail?
They say curiosity killed the cat. And they're right. They say good things come in small packages.
No way out. It's my time.
But this time, they're wrong.
Let's turn the back seat. No, let's turn the back.
Got to give the devil his due. Sorority babes.
That's a terrible trailer. But like the voice in the actual movie is like Mother Brain. He talks like this.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's very. That may be why they changed it there, but it's very like, hey, what are you looking at?
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I'm educated, and I do want to see this movie.
Yeah, and there was like the only problems we had was that there was some problems with the sign-in because it was such a huge like thing of everybody on Shudder wanting to watch it. Which, if you don't know, Shudder is like Netflix for horror movies.
Okay.
But we eventually did get in, and then they also put it up for on-demand viewing with the interstitials by Joe Bob included. So it was great. It showed movies like Sleepaway Camp, which is probably my favorite camp movie.
Covered by
horror movie.
How Did This Get Made?
Absolutely, yep. And yeah, West and I looked into adult like summer camps. I think we're gonna go to one next year. Not like sexy camps, but like just like it's like summer camp, like a weekend or week camp where you like go, but it's adult where you like you have activities during the day and then you have like a mixer at night and then you.
I mean, it sounds like going to a resort.
Yeah, except it's like camp. Not a resort.
It would be cool if they threw in like an element of like murder into
I'm
it.
surprised
Like
that you would be into something like that.
Why?
I don't know. The idea of camp, like camp activities, are like outdoor things, like canoeing and camping and archery and like
Outdoors.
badminton. And I just
he does
don't
do a garden.
Well, yeah. I
It's
don't know why
true.
you would.
That's not
you
camping,
do gardening,
but
at
it's
the
outdoors.
Gardening, you think would be one of the activities?
But
would
I'm
be
just
a-
saying, it's Ryan spending time outdoors. So.
It's true, but also it's like it's as an adult. Like I did go to one camp, and it was a church camp actually, which was very strange for me.
Sure.
But I think I love camp movies so much, and I love the like aesthetic of camp so much. And I think as an adult, like being able to, you can opt out of whatever you want to do. You don't have to do anything. You're paying for this. What the fuck are they going to do? But then also like you have booze, so
Okay.
It is true. I never like summer camp is sort of this American iconic sort of rite
does
of
seem
passage
uniquely American.
that I never experienced. There is a This American Life episode that's dedicated to summer camp, and so it was a really interesting listen. But yeah, basically but it's a thing I never experienced. But like some kids like it's like Jewish summer camp or just or whatever the random summer camp is for. Kids, they just get shipped off, and that just never. I don't know if that's just not so much a Midwest thing, or maybe that's more of like a northeastern thing. But I didn't experience it. But there is this thing that exists that I kind of feel like it'd be kind of neat if I got to do that.
I will say it was neat. I did kind of enjoy it, except for like. Oh, we're gonna wake up and here's Bible study, and like then we talk about how creationism is real, and I'm like, I have questions, but whatever. It was kind of, I mean, it's such a weird dichotomy of I don't even really enjoy like sports activities and stuff, but the like just camping, and I think I was there for probably 5 days. But the activity of like camping in a summer camp, and maybe it's because I like Friday the 13th again so much, it really captures my imagination. I really like that whole aesthetic of it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You
Keep
guys
me in the loop.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, can I go?
Sure.
You didn't.
That would be great.
I tried to invite myself to your 24-hour movie marathon. And
You did.
That went with that fell on not deaf ears.
You were like,
those ears listened and those ears replied.
You did.
With "Do not come over."
You said, "Hey, how would it be? Do you guys want some company?" I said, "No," and then you hung up on me.
Well, but I texted you and I was like, "Were you just joking around about that?" And you were like.
No. Yeah, it was. We've been planning it for about a month, and it was kind of a date thing because whenever, like, she has strong memories of being a kid and watching Joe Bob Briggs on Monster Vision. So it was like, yeah, it was kind of a date thing that we were doing.
Did you guys make love while watching a movie?
I mean, I did. She was asleep. Was that real?
Last episode recap.
Thank God.
We went all over the place.
Hot Rod and Unicron meet up somewhere in Unicron's gut. And what seemed like a potential powerhouse team-up turned into a battle as Unicron tortured Galvatron and commanded him to murder Hot Rod. Mm-hmm. Sorry if I'm a little slow this episode, guys. This is the third episode in our 3-episode run, which means I'm a little buzzed, but I don't think I'm at that annoying level from one previous... there's one episode in our canon. I can't remember which one.
I don't remember either,
where
but I know which one you're talking about.
Where I was fucking shit-faced by the end of it. And I've listened back on that episode. I remember I was like, often I'll ride my bike on the trails and listen to episodes before we publish, and in listening to that episode, I could just feel Ryan's
like
hatred.
Anger.
Yeah, just like he was so mad. And hopefully that's not what this turns out. But I'm not gonna lie.
No, we're doing good.
Is he feeling it? You can't see that visual. It's a Dave Chappelle reference.
That's right.
So, at any rate, right at the top of the minute here, Hot Rod is taking off as Galvatron fires his fusion cannon at him several times. Galvatron kind of surveys the area around him. He's a little bit frustrated. He can't quite get a ping on Hot Rod. And he says, "Puny Autobot, you lack even Prime's courage." A little something to kind of maybe goad him from the shadows.
I don't know about... That line confused me.
Go on.
Because maybe it is trying to goad him, I guess, but
Yeah, he's calling him
if it's not, I'm like...
calling him a pussy.
But even Prime's courage implies that Prime had no courage. It implies that Prime was a coward. Which, say what you will, but I don't feel like either Megatron or Galvatron necessarily ever called Prime's, like, courage into question.
I don't look at it as him calling Prime's courage into question. I look at it as him acknowledging Prime's courage and saying that. But the way he phrases it, though, is confusing.
It's
because
the word even.
You lack even Prime's courage.
Yeah.
And so I guess you could say that he lacks a lot of things about Prime. And notably,
I think
his
it's the
courage.
inflection, because if he would have said it, you lack even Prime's courage,
right?
That's a little less confusing.
I think it just crossing out the word even. Probably
yeah, even does not need to be in that sentence.
Flint Dilly, take a note.
I'm glad you paused it here, actually, Aaron, at 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 9 seconds, where we see Unicron standing on top of Cybertron. And for a couple of reasons. One, I'll just touch on what I noticed. If you see down on the bottom lower corner, you see the Dinobots flying into frame. Now, if you look at
that's a very, and we are. This is a relatively high def. Not what we're watching is not the most recent high def Blu-ray makeover, but even on this one, first of all, I never saw that before.
I didn't
never
before
noticed
either.
that, but that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry. What were you going to say?
No. That's interesting because I had never noticed that before either. But if you look at the upper left, what ships are those? Because it looks like the Revenge and an Autobot shuttle.
That's true. No idea.
And the Revenge, as we know, 2 or 3 episodes ago, was crushed unceremoniously by Unicron shortly before or after he ate the Coneheads.
I mean, I guess they could be random Cybertronian vessels. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I mean, there is actually other debris floating around in the midst. It's almost like when you stare at the sun for a second and you blink your eye and you got those floaties going
all the time.
on. That's kind of what is happening here. Is there's like floaties. Well, actually, most of that. Well, yeah, there are definitely other ships flying around.
They're just not as clear.
Side.
Like those are definitely specifically animated to be there. And
right.
I'm just not sure. And we see Unicron shooting out of only one eye because his other one has been destroyed.
That's right. So we said we were going to do this in the last episode. So let's just cover it real quick. Like we've got Unicron on the surface of Cybertron. His feet are dug in. We see that we got the various forces attacking him. So 3 minutes ago, Cybertron was like the size of maybe an extra large yoga ball. Now it is much bigger, or Unicron maybe has gotten smaller. I don't know, but the scale just like it's a massive jump.
Sure,
in relative proportions.
And if this is the case, then Cybertron is magnitudes larger than Lethone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean...
Because Unicron was larger than Lethone.
Yeah, he was able to, like... Lethone, he just kind of brought it in with his horns into his mouth. Into his anus mouth.
That's right.
Okay,
his manus.
His Manus. My dad had a friend named David Manus.
Yeah? Was it because of his anus mouth?
Did you catch any hell over
It wasn't... I don't think they made the association.
They did fuck his mouth a lot, though.
Your last name is just like that movie. Transformers. The movie.
Do you see that?
I don't know
why. I'm raping your mouth.
Why are all your dad's friends rednecks?
Yeah, I don't know where.
In this scenario.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I know your dad worked for the railroad and was a union boy, and I feel like they're all good old boys. And I don't know. Is this insulting?
Is this
a little bit?
Does anybody take offense to this? Oh, you do?
Your dad is one of my favorite people I've ever known in my entire life. I want you to know I hold the milkman in high regard.
It's not hick enough. Got to go more harder. Go harder.
Well, then you're just in Boomhauer territory.
No, come on. Come on.
Caleb! God damn it, your dad doesn't even talk like that.
Exactly.
Checkmate. All right.
King me?
Oh, checkers.
Yeah, you didn't know what game we were playing.
That's right. I'm playing 4-dimensional checkers.
So there is a close-up at this point, as Ryan was referring to. And but actually, just to talk about this battle is actually pretty cool. There's a lot of explosions going on. There's actually a few repeated animation cycles. He fires off to the lower left-hand corner of the screen out of his eye using the same animation a couple of times, and it's the same kind of explosion animation as well. But overall, like the quality of the explosions, the quality of like the movement of the animation is really good. So that's one that he just did over here, and he's swatting things and popping them, and he does another little laser fire out of his eye there.
Yeah,
it's really good. I mean, it's not the best drawing in the world, but it's as good as it can be or should be, I think, for this thing. And the subtle thing of the ships flying around him and the two that seem to be things we should be paying attention to, although I don't think they matter. It's all a nice touch. They do a great job. So, and that brings us to really a close-up of Unicron's face. And we see his left eye is clearly damaged, although we know why that is, but it looks more like torn aluminum than shattered
it may be
glass
like an
at this
earlier,
point.
like they may have animated this before they decided to animate the ship crashing into it scene,
Right. Either way, it's no good. He can't fire laser beams out of it. So he fires a couple beams from his good eye, and it follows that same. Again, we talked about this last episode, like that whole like the leavings or the tracers or whatever you want to call it of the laser.
The cast-offs.
They follow a sort of a wave, and they look awesome. But the second beam whizzes past a flying Grimlock who dodges just in time. I would talk a little bit about scale. We know that eye is larger in diameter than a Quintesson ship, which Grimlock would have fit in. We know this because we saw that. And the diameter of this eye beam should be pretty much the diameter of the eye. And but anyway, so it just feels like that was a little bit off.
Sure, but you don't know. There's no sense of scale. You don't know how far off that shot was. That could have been hundreds of miles in the opposite direction.
I think it'd be hard to represent that if they would have actually.
Oh no, it would have taken up the whole screen.
Exactly.
No, totally. Listen. Just let me pick this thing apart.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Sorry.
And I will say we're at 1 hour 12 minutes 18 seconds in, and
what do we see here?
Well, first of all, we see Grimlock in robot form,
right?
And we will soon see all the Dinobots in robot form, which we haven't seen since way back when they were introduced in the movie in episode 18.
True that.
But we also see a one-off of Grimlock firing energy out of his fists.
Out of his fucking fists, and we never see this ever in the show. A very random inclusion for sure. And why didn't they just give him his goddamn gun?
They do later.
It's okay. Well, all right.
Which I actually liked, and I'll bring up whenever we get to that point.
So he and his team fly up from the lower extremities,
which is great,
all the way over Unicron's head. Yeah, a great panning shot, and the way that Unicron follows them as they are making those moves.
They fly up around his shoulder.
Over around the shoulder, back towards his gargantuan glutes, and
I will say they look awesome until Grimlock delivers this line.
Oh yeah. So Grimlock, and it's probably an iconic moment. He transforms and he utters the historic line, "Me Grimlock kick butt." And that's exactly what he does.
I mean, he does. He says what he's gonna do, and then he does it. So he delivers on that.
You gotta respect that.
I just hate it.
You gotta respect it. That line. And his feet slam into Unicron's haunches. It kind of shreds the skin, exposing some metallic meat underneath here. And then at kind of the 30-second mark of our minute, the rest of the Dinobots follow suit, each turning into their beast mode and each attacking Unicron
and doing some damage
in their own unique way. And I guess a testament to the power of the Dinobots. You see Grimlock continues to kind of pound ass. Sorry.
Yeah, you can see.
I wrote that down and I didn't even think about it. Perverted at the time. But so he's continuing to do that off into the background.
And then Sludge comes up.
Sludge uses his tail and whips Unicron a new asshole. I did do that on purpose. Good God. Swoop fires a couple missiles into Unicron's hide, which by the way, that looked really cool.
I love the sound.
Kind of the way he strafes into it and just kaboosh. A very nice animation right there. And Slag comes in, breathes hot fire and melts a hole straight into Unicron's flesh. So I love how we've seen all this action that seems to be doing nothing to him by the Decepticon jets, the Coneheads and whatnot, even the ship, the Revenge. But these guys show up on the scene
and do some damage.
Minimal as it is, it still is.
To the point where Unicron reacts.
Exactly. It forces a reaction.
And I will say, we paused it here at 41 seconds in, and there is Slag, or
it's kind of hanging out on the ledge.
Yeah,
there.
who is or not Slag, Snarl. It's Snarl, and who we don't see really ever, but in this long shot he's there. But yeah, and then Unicron reacts and grabs his ass.
That's right. So, Unicron? Junipercron.
Oh, Jin.
Exactly. He's had enough, and he uses his gigantic right hand to kind of reach back and attempt to squish the Dinobots, but they all manage to escape. Reconverge.
Yep. Right
at this
here
point.
at 46 seconds in, we see Grimlock, and if you can keep going a little bit, but yeah, Grimlock, they all have their toy accurate weapons.
Oh yeah, they've got their guns here. Mm-hmm. Why did he fire from his fists?
Unclear, but like I did like that point because I had the Grimlock toy, I had all the Dinobot toys, and like I just enjoyed seeing like Grimlock's like dual like missile launcher thing, and then Sludge's blaster, and it was just I liked seeing like toy and screen accurate bits in this.
Now, Grimlock has had, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, he's had a lot of different looks throughout the G1 Season 1 and 2, sort of like his animation model. And this is the peak of his, like, what I would call the good animation model. Do you guys know what I'm talking about when I say that?
I'm not sure.
So it's just the face. Let me just type in Grimlock G1 cartoon, and maybe that'll give us a few results here that make sense. But basically, in the early phases of the cartoon, they really made him look silly. Like, this is a good version. Let me see if I can. Oh, here we go. This kind of look.
Where his face is much more oval. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
that does look stupid.
Yeah, at certain points. And I think maybe it was just for that episode. I'm not totally sure. Maybe they hadn't settled on what his animation model actually looked like. But at any rate, I digress. So at this point, the Dinobots, Grimlock utters another semi-iconic line.
Me, Grimlock, need new strategy.
And the Dinobots retreat. We've got a shot of Unicron against
here we go
standing on Cybertron. I'm not going to get into the scale conversations anymore, but he's looking back towards the Dinobots as they fall back, which is pretty cool. And you can see them kind of, although there's only 4 of them for some reason. Oh, I guess there was always only 4 of them.
Yeah, it was random as to which 4.
And so then he turns to face the camera and then leans over as if staring at his abdomen. There's kind of a stomach rumbling.
Yeah, there's a gurgling
sound effect, which indicates to me that that's where our Autopals are.
I think so.
And from inside Unicron, we catch back up with Springer, Cup, RC, and Daniel. They're running down a long corridor, and at this point, Daniel trips, falls right on his stupid face. He screams, "Help!" And the Autobots turn to look back.
Good Lord.
And that's where this minute ends.
I will say them running down that track is reminiscent of Springer and RC running down the trench in the Siege of Autobot City.
While it's transforming.
I agree. Yeah, and also this is great in that it's just another one of those sequences that I love. I don't know the technical term for it, but where the background is also animated. It's not just animated characters on a painted background, but everything is drawn.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
And I will say, I know it's because we want to see the characters, I guess, but I'm like, be cars.
Yeah, I know. No shit. You have all of you, even Daniel, has the ability
to be a car.
To transform. Why are you running? Really stupid. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Good job, Brian.
Thank you.
So let's, we're at the end of a minute. Let's get into the... Deviations. And mine is not too different from what we see on screen. This is Aaron speaking. I'm gonna go first because my shit is basically, 1 degree of separation away.
Your shit is
from,
basic. You're a basic bitch.
I'm gonna get that pumpkin spice. So at any rate, what's on screen is not too different. The Dinobots attack, but rather than using his hand to try and swat them away, he breathes fire at them. He being Unicron breathes fire at them. And from inside Unicron, Daniel trips on what is described in the script as a maze of wiring. So in this situation, he's running down a flat surface hallway and he just oof. Yeah. But in this situation, he gets caught. And actually, that has more bearing into the next minute. There'll be more interesting script deviations based on that. But for this one, that's all that really matters. So Ryan, get into your early draft Ron Friedman craziness.
Okay, if you remember from the last couple episodes, as opposed to crashing through the eyeball, they have crashed the ship into Unicron's ear, and the rest of the Autobots, except for Hot Rod, are distracting Unicron. Blur is zipping around his chest, shooting flames, and Unicron is trying to attack him that way. Now we are on the Dinobots as they blast Ingester's knee, and Grimlock says, "More! Give him more!" And Ingester reacts and quickly snatches the Dinobots on his knee, on Slag and Swoop. Ingester palm swats them against his shin, and they hang in his leg hairs on armored shin guards, sparking, and it seems dead. Which I'm like, why'd you write it seems? Only mostly dead? Are they not dead? I guess we'll find out later. I don't know. Unicron smiles, straightens up, and suddenly lashes his hands to his midsection. Wreck-Gar and Junkions are riding Ingester's belly, shooting and using grappling hooks on it as they react and look up, their point of view. Ingester's flattened hands coming at them. The screen goes black in a crunch and yelping sounds. And then we go over on Springer with RC and Daniels. He assists them up into Ingester's clavicle area. Springer.
So that's a group of people that are still outside.
The Junkion, everybody's outside but Hot Rod right now.
Okay.
And Springer says, "He's getting sharper. Make yourselves moving targets."
Do you intentionally always do a John Wayne when you do Springer?
I started doing John Wayne for Ultra Magnus, and then I started doing Springer as Harrison Ford, but then it got muddled, and so now it's just all over the place.
It's all John Wayne.
Yeah. So then we go back to Hot Rod, and he is inside of Ingester, and he comes up to an opening and closing valve. The valve is like a mechanical valve in an artery, and Hot Rod, still swatting back the pollen-like white cells, turns and times his leaping. With a shout, he snaps through the huge valve opening, just getting inside before it snaps shut, keeping the white cells from following him. The area is filled with a catacomb-like gleaming cave and shadowed passages, and there's a humming, glowing series of drive shafts. And Hot Rod says, "Getting closer." He starts
as far as I know.
I guess. And then he starts off warily and then steps on a tile. The tile depresses and creases as he steps on it and walks. And then Ingester, as he suddenly stops battling at Blur and straightens up sharply. Angle on Galvatron, who, if you remember, is in Unicron's eyebrow. You don't remember, because I didn't.
I've not heard that before.
But Galvatron is still in Unicron's eye. He flipped him up there at some point.
Okay.
Ingester's thumb and forefinger enter the shot and flick him again. Galvatron says, "Mercy, have mercy, I beg of you," which is an interesting callback. And Ingester says, "There's an intruder within my mechanism. Find him and destroy him, and you shall live." "Yes, noble Ingester, as you say." The word trails off as we see Ingester's finger prod Galvatron down into his eye, Galvatron slipping through the space between the rim of the eyelid and the eyeball itself into the corner of the eye, and Galvatron falls, rights himself, and lands in the entry core of Ingester's chest cavity.
Really?
God damn. Why would he not just swallow him?
Exactly.
Right.
That is the weirdest decision.
Ingester, when it's
as a
explained
writer,
here, when you are...
He just seems hollow.
Well, he seems like outwardly like just a big, fat, hairy man.
Yes. And then essentially Galvatron falls directly into where Hot Rod is and says, "An Autobot?" And Hot Rod pauses to look up at the remaining area to climb, and Galvatron says, "He must be eliminated." And he scowls, eyes blazing with hate. "And if I perish, he shall fall with me. Decepticons forever!" And that's where we'll stop.
Interesting. What was the ingester call to arms?
Ingester
and victory.
I can't. Why didn't he should have done that?
Well,
He just invented a new call to arms.
Decepticons Forever, which is what Ravage says in I think one of the season 2 episodes of Beast Wars, where we see the original arc with the Autobots and Decepticons. Anyway,
Let's talk more about Beast Wars.
Beast Wars, yes.
I'm sure that you saw the $300+ masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron.
I thought it was only like
that is-
$150.
Oh God, no! It's a $300
Really?
item.
Oh,
Yeah.
it looks awesome though.
I don't collect Beast Wars, but I kind of thought about collecting it for a little while, the Masterpiece Beast Wars, just to have it, but I don't really have a connection to the series.
Mm-hmm.
But the toys looked cool, but they're all super pricey. And
Yeah.
that one actually, I believe, is the most expensive Takara Masterpiece item to date, which is interesting because I'm standing before me. I don't know if this is my most expensive piece, but it is a relative. I mean, this is I'm looking at. Oh gosh, I'm blanking out on the manufacturer. It's Gabriel. It is the third party Omega Supreme. Oh fuck, why can't I remember? It's DX9. Anyway, that thing was like $250. And there's no way that Beast Wars Megatron is as big as that thing.
I think maybe it's the detail work involved in the Beast Wars, because it's pretty, like, there's a lot of curvature work on that toy. I don't know.
I don't know how that matters, though. Like,
Well, I don't build toys.
maybe a toy designer is our guest. Next guest.
Animators, toy designers, hit us up.
Anyone.
We should just do the character. We should just pretend. This week we've got Jack Angel, the voice of Springer, and then Caleb just does that voice.
I'll be like,
Hey, I'm Springer.
hi, I'm Springer.
No.
it just, yeah.
All my voices are the ghosts of the iconic moment.
You do a great impression of that ghost.
Thank you.
Speaking of which, maybe it's time to get into that iconic moment. Whoa.
Burr.
So, okay, we can.
I'm the ghost of the iconic moment.
You know.
Yo, sup, dog?
Wait a minute, you're back again?
Yo.
You're still.
Are you back at Wreck-It?
You've
What?
got this affectation that I remember from the last time we saw you. If I remember, you were like MC iconic.
Sup, iconic MC.
Yeah.
The sheet on the street.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Well, so you're back.
I'll haunt your dreams.
Shit.
Is this all just catchphrases? Is this what you've come with?
You've really developed this new hardcore persona.
Yo, gets me cred with the ladies. My
Does it?
booze.
Is it?
Is that a play on hose?
Working on my new album.
Okay, we got more. What is the new album called?
Booty call.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it's just sheets with butts sticking out of
Working on
them.
some rhymes.
Okay.
Oh, do you need a beat?
You got some sweet rhymes?
You put me down a beat.
All right, here we go.
Yeah. So I hear you really want to be a sheethead, but can you really be a sheethead like me? So if you really want to go and be a sheethead, well, motherfucker, a sheethead ain't free. Get into my Bugatti and cruise to La Quinta, baby, you can't lose. We'll smoke some weed, and yes, indeed, you'll float around the hood with me. Stop it! Song's over.
You know what I love? My favorite part about hip hop is whenever the rapper instructs the DJ to stop.
My favorite part about hip hop is me. I'm cool.
Well, that was a
Getting all
lot.
the
I
ladies
do
now.
have to give you a little
wonderful.
cred that was a lot better than your last track.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That you laid down with us
I'm
here
working
in
on
the
it.
arc.
I'm an artist.
You know what? You're signed. You want to sign to APDC Records? We'll
No.
distribute.
Let's dangle them off the balcony.
We want all the rights to your songs.
No.
Give it to us.
Poof.
Oh, he disappeared.
In a rabid display of automatopoeia, or he is just gone.
Wow.
All right.
I've never heard such a clear, like, poof sound. It's so amazing.
And I mean, it
Smells like pine.
It looked like what it sounded like.
Smells like weed.
That's right.
And he doesn't really talk that much about smoking weed, right?
I don't know.
I'm just looking to make sure automotive was the right word
You're
to
right.
use.
You're
Yes, I did it right.
I would have corrected you.
Good, I'm sure you would have. That is in character. So let's talk about our iconic moments. Caleb, I'd like to start with you because it puts you on the spot and makes you uncomfortable.
I didn't notice until we really got into it, but I just thought it was funny to see all the Dinobots hanging on Unicron's butt.
That is true. Yeah. And I never really paid that much attention to that before. Like, yeah, they were all just like Unicron's dingleberries.
Kind of, yeah.
I had the same moment, but not for those reasons.
Okay.
Like, I just, corny lines aside, I genuinely like seeing, I have always loved the Dinobots. Like, you know, I had them all as toys. And
We've been hating on them this whole movie, though.
I have not. I've been defending them, but saying that I just don't like the way they're portrayed. But I love the fact that the Dinobots are the only, like, single... like robots that seem to deal actual damage, just kind of showing how they are powerful, but God, those lines. But yeah, that's what I like. That was my iconic moment.
Pretty cringy. I think that I'm with you that they look great. This last image of Unicron standing on Cybertron, though, that's a pretty cool image. Like, he's actually drawn a lot better than the last time we saw him standing on Cybertron. I think you guys are right. Those are the Dinobot moments are the most iconic, but I just have to give a shout out to that image.
Seeing him standing on Cybertron is pretty awesome, yeah.
Sure.
Well,
getting closer to the mic.
We can all agree.
Hi.
This is another
Well,
one.
you had to wave away that cloud of the ghost.
Get out of here.
Oh man, it still smells a little. So I was going to say, so we're unanimous again. I couldn't remember the word unanimous.
Is it a quorum? Next time on the Autopod Decepticast.
We're going to see RC unleash a typhoon, sweeping Daniel away from the rest of the group. And he's going to find himself confronted with what is definitely at least the second, but maybe the first, most disturbing image in the entire movie. And it's going to be a macabre minute.
Macabre.
Macabre.
That is something that's one of the lines in the Fresh Presses raps. It's macabre.
Oh, the French press.
The French press, that's right. The French press and DJ Java.
Macabre.
Macabre.
We can't let this go.
No. It's happening.
It needs to be a television shirt.
think,
a television shirt? A t-shirt?
It needs to be a shirt on television.
There should be a collab between Iconic MC and the...
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, Will Smith never really did features. Maybe
he'd be available.
Yeah, we could get him.
Yeah, I don't feel like he did much at
No.
all.
In his life.
Never.
Career-wise.
Nope.
He just kind of faded away after...
Yep.
Listen to the show, everybody. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and TuneIn. Follow us on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, of course. All of those are at the moniker at Autopod Decast. There's the web presence, autopoddecepticast.com.
Maybe some moonlighting.
Oh, of course. Some
Moonlighting stuff that nobody cares about.
Well, I do.
Except Aaron.
I love it.
Yeah. What else did we talk about? No, Garfield was last episode.
I'm sure there's some fingering you can put on there.
Oh, yeah. Lock it in and lock it out.
iTunes users, please rate and subscribe. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
How do you rate this episode's quality?
I think this
11.
I love it. It was awesome.
All right, beautiful.
That rap was great.
That rap was great.
The iconic moment's gotten a lot better.
Let's hear the
His
iconic
chops-
rap
his
again. Let's
chops
see how
are
that
good.
goes.
Hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Autopod Decepticast After Dark, APDCAD. Back by popular demand. I got so many fan letters. I got so much wonderful mail from you. So many tweets, so many DMs of your pussies and your dicks getting hard, getting wet, in reverse order, or sometimes in that order. Who knows what a human body can do We're discovering every day that the human body can do new things, ladies and gentlemen, sexually. Did you know you can put things into a butthole? I just found that out yesterday. It's amazing. It's opened up a whole new world. It opened up a whole new world of a brown starfish world where I insert things and then pull things back out and then insert them again. Rinse and repeat. Although don't rinse it because you're washing away all that good lubrication. Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen. What else did we learn about? You can do, besides the butt stuff. I think that's what the kids are calling it. Butt stuff. Well, I heard, did you know that I saw a documentary that was called Deep Throat, and there was a woman and she had a clitoris in the back of her throat, ladies and gentlemen. It's fucking true. Did you know that women have a clitoris in the back of their throat? And I bet some men do too. Maybe all men. Maybe everybody has a clitoris in the back of their throat. Why don't you go back there and just fucking punch it like a speed bag? That's right. Get that fucking throat clitoris coming. Yeah, buddy. Potty short.
Blow cells, where we sell good.